The war rages on. I think just jamming at M5. Good spot though. I think Ace Queen, Ace Jack probably call. Um, and it looks like he's got Ace Queen, doesn't it? Sorry guys, I'm just munching on some vegetables. We held. One time. Go time. Go time, go time. Hold baby. Do it. Yeah. That's a run good now. Coming. It felt good holding up there. Spot. Couldn't blame someone if they wanted to raise to 3-bet. 3-bet actually looks kind of strong because Eisenhower's only got M4, so it's committal to him. But the open is virtually committal to him as well. But that doesn't mean you're still not going to raise with, King 10 and stuff. Well, 10 Jack. Suited. That's kind of what I thought he had. But having said that, if we 3-bet, he might fold. It was kind of close. I think he probably does fold. It just felt like he had that sort of hand that he was going to fold if we 3-bet. Because he can just snap off if Eisenhower jams. So 12 or 25. 8 or 12 and 12 or 25. It's nice to have two tournaments that are likely to end around the same time. And not have like the other one is like the big 11, like 200 of like 700. Because you know you're just still gonna have that one tournament that's gonna linger. Okay, finish those veggies. So, I mean, we just can't really get clear on the left to right quite yet with this stacks depth. It's just been in survival mode. We need to get another double up to give us a little bit of a buffer like we have on the right now. We have a little bit of a buffer. We can 3-bet to fold, we can open, and then if we get 3-bet, 4-bet with decent fold equity, we'll have a few weapons at our disposal. M4. Wow. 6, 9, 12. It's so close. I think it's definitely okay to call. It's virtually for our tournament life. I think it's okay to call. I think I would probably rather be first in jamming, in a spot like this where we've got a pan of 14 and we only need sort of 10-ish. Having said that, someone's going to snap now with King Queen and we're going to bust, and I'm going to be like, talk about reading the situation. Lucky to get out of jail. Just trying to make me look bad. Trying to do it to me, aren't they? Yeah, the Jack Queen, I mean, no fold equity. Obviously, we're calling an all-in. So, I mean, we're doing okay against this range, but it's just not fantastic. I mean, we're just never having crush, very rarely. I mean, he could have Queen 9 suited, but most of the time he's got Ace-X, we're just flipping for our tournament life. We're short, so we need to get chips, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't blame someone if they wanted to call there for sure. It's definitely okay, but I just feel like there's a little bit more merit to surviving and taking the King 6 suited and getting it in against a dominating hand and getting a chop. Well, no. Wow. Not that, but yeah, I mean, just when we jam, a lot of the time they're just going to fold there and we're still in, kind of thing. And it's not that there's so much of a bubble really factor to consider, but there is a little bit because we are 10 of 12, so we don't really want to just flip for our tournament life, bust 50% of the time at this point. I'd be a little bit more interested in sort of survival and we get to jam on Roundy. Beautiful. Gotta keep Rounder short. He runs godlike. Can't let him get chips. He'll just win every hand. He rarely gets it in good against me, but he rarely loses. So it's tight guy, tight-ish. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tight-ish guy. Carpe diem. I mean, it's not that he's that tight, but just... I was pretty close to jamming that one there, by the way. That's why you probably noticed there was a pause in my voice. Dan HP. Okay, this is looking good. Ace7. Wow. Ace7, 4. Wow, how does he just min? It's very annoying. I just don't think we can quite fold it. 3, 4. But we're so short. And he's so short. Looks like he has Ace Jack and he's snapping us. It really does, but I just don't think we can wait any longer. We got Ace7 against the button. He's stealing. I mean, it says he's stealing 38%. Button for raise first in 40. Oh, okay, 40. Yeah, I mean it's what did I say? It was 38. I mean it's high. It's high. But that's an overall. I don't have stats filtered by stack size, which is something that I'm in the midst of doing. I just would like to know how often he open raises M, 6 to 8 or 5 to 8, and then folds. I can't imagine it's going to be that high, especially not compared to, especially not to, you know, when you're M20 plus, you're going to be stealing a ton. I mean, early stage, I steal with, you know, any, you know, suited hand virtually on the button, but I mean, that's not really going to be happening when you're M5 to 8. Well, I mean, unless you've got really tight players behind, then it might, but yeah. Which, I mean, we haven't been contesting the blinds much because we haven't had the chance to, and Copy DM is on the tight side too, so I mean, maybe I'm overestimating his stack size, adjusting to the stack size. I mean, maybe he's still stealing pretty wide. But you can see he's so short now, right? I mean, look, he's M5. I mean, when you're that short, you don't want to make a habit of race folding unless you plan on blinding down to 0. But, you know, we had the A7 that was just a little bit too strong to do anything else. So we're 12 of 20 and 18 get paid. Entry pay, wow, 870. This is actually going to be a profitable day if we make the money. Once between the 2 20s that we have here. I think this stack size here that we have M12 with this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy behind, we do have to be a little bit careful because these guys can easily abuse us. Because, you know, M12, they can put us under tremendous pressure. And so you can probably expect me in the bubble with M12 to be playing pretty tight when we have players behind, you know, that can assert a lot of pressure and are definitely capable of. If it was a tournament like a $22, I would just keep raising relentlessly because I don't think they're going to do that. But I do think these guys here are all likely, I mean, they're pretty good players. This guy's pretty good. This guy's pretty good. This guy I'm not too sure about. But you know, it is $100 rebuy, so the chances are they have some clue. And I do think they're going to put a lot of pressure on us. At the same time, these guys here, short stacks can be jamming, but they shouldn't really be doing that too much because it's a bubble time. So they're likely to be pretty tight, and that's actually, yeah. I mean, I'm actually kind of pretty happy with that, just to get rounder out and save him bad beating us later. But also just to get it down to hand for hand. Just because we do have that stack size. If we had M30 right now, I would be like, let's have hand for hand forever, please. But just because we do have this stack size where players can get a lot of leverage against us, it's just, it's really not good. But the bubble's busted now, so that's nice. It's nice. So 11 of 18. So at this point, my next mission is to come top 6. That's kind of like my next goal normally when I'm in this spot. Obviously, we want to win, and that's the primary objective. But from this point now, if we come less than 6th, I'm disappointed. But if we can come, better than 6th, then I kind of don't look at the tournament as a fail kind of thing. And I mean, that's just because the prize pool is so top heavy, and you could even argue for finishing, I want to finish top 3, that's where the real money is. But the thing about 6th is it's usually about 20% of first, and you can see here that's the case. It's like almost 10 for first and it's 2 for 6th. If you can get around 20% of what first is, I normally sort of think of the tournament as, a small success. But then obviously if you win, that's the big one, that's the big success. So how are we going to do that? So we want to be, the blinds have just gone up. Actually, let's just jam this here first and then talk about this. So we want to be, we just had our stack size up sort of where we could maneuver a little bit, but unfortunately the blinds have gone up on us. And so it's going to be a little bit tricky because we're back down to M8, I think. You can see the PT4 hasn't adjusted yet. But I'm sure it will momentarily. Maybe. Maybe not. So you can see there's almost 4k in there. So we've got around M8. So we just have to be a little bit careful with M8. We've got a little bit of time. So we've got 13 minutes of this level still. Opening here, man, it's a bit iffy. I mean, this guy's going to jam a lot. This guy's jamming a lot. We're not too worried about Eisenhower jamming because he's so short. We're getting good pot odds anyway. As it is, we would have been jammed on and had to fold by P the Legend. Not too sure about Ace Jack in 40 bigs in 100 rebuy button versus big blind though. So it looks like he's not afraid to get his stack in. And metagaming, most likely thinking that players are rear stealing and that sort of thing from late position. Not too bad a spot there. Now P got chips. This guy's not through betting too aggressively. This small blind looks like he does. He's a very good player. Just came to the table. And this guy, 2k hands we've got on him. We got 2k hands, 2k hands, 2k hands, 1k hands. So we've got a lot of hands on these guys. And these guys here look pretty capable of 3-betting. We do see the 3-bet jam here being put to work. And you will see the 3-bet jam being put to work on the left side. If this guy just shoves with M7 here, I'm probably still going to call just because he's cut off. I do think he might do it with 2s, 3s and 4s. And less likely to do it with bigger pairs. We're just surviving, aren't we? We're just out in the bush. We've got our survival kit out. Trying to make a fire with a couple of sticks. We're eating canned food. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not that good with survival stuff in the bush, to be honest. I don't mind camping, but I do like amenities. Five. Bit of action here. So we've got the 3-bet and then the flat from lol. A quick search has revealed that lol has a pretty low ability, and that would make sense flatting a 3-bet out of position. Average buy-in. Wow. This Yay guy has got phenomenal little stats. Maybe I was saying phenomenal and formidable at the same time there. I'm developing a stutter in the process. Stealer. I think suited aces is probably my stealing hands here. Wow, that's a pretty good flop. Probably could have gone even smaller there. Could have gone like 2200. Try one more. I think if Carpe 3-bets, it's probably an easy fold. I don't think we can fold M4 if Wombat jams on us with Queen 9 suited. Even though he's probably the player that I actually really like this 3-bet here by Carpe. When you think about it, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, he gets great leverage against the entire table and just looks super strong at the same time. What are you going to do with ace-queen from the small blind there, you know? You're probably just going to fold it. Ace-queen off. He's just folding out so many hands. He looks so strong, and at the same time, he knows we steal pretty wide with that stack depth from early. It's a thing of beauty. Ace-2, it's a little bit scary, because when we get called here, we're going to be crushed a lot. I probably, given that Wombat has been pretty tight with short stacking, if he had a jam there, I actually think he's probably got us dominated a lot, and I might actually come up with a fold. It'd be nice to have just a few more chips, a little bit more flexibility with 3-betting. Just show you this yeah guy because this is pretty rare. Wow. He has got this graph here and an ability of 98. You know, which is pretty rare. He's not up as much on stars as I am, but his ability is a little bit higher, so I don't believe it. It's just lies. No, it's in all seriousness, it's well, it's pretty crazy to have an ability of 98. It's pretty rare to see. I've never seen 100. Who's got 100? One of you guys, I'm sure, you leave a comment, let me know. I'm sure there's a few guys getting around with 100. It seems like a lot of guys have 50. A lot of Russian guys have 50. This is like the lowest score because it works from 50 to 100. But I never really see 100. I don't even know if I've seen 99. I'm sure there's a lot of luck boxing that has to go into getting a 99 or 100. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're a crusher. But at the same time, they must have run pretty good in some like Sunday meals or W Coops or something. Actually, tell you who's probably one of the biggest crushers is what's his name? Can think of his face, but not his name. Going out with that Spanish PokerStars Pro. What's his name? God damn. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. I think his Stars username is actually partly contains or does contain his real name as well. It's not Brian. God damn. The brain. God damn this brain. Need to get myself a new brain. I thought if I typed in poker couples, it might come up. I know some of you guys are out there thinking, Acesup, you're an idiot. Think of his name already. I get it. I get it, don't you worry. She is. Okay, so Ana Marquez. Ana Marquez. How does he not come up when I type in Ana Marquez's boyfriend? Seriously. Oh, there he is. We got him. We got him. Bryn Kenny. Gotcha. Gotcha. Bryn Kenny. I think we have to play the aces here. You guys thought I was going to time out, didn't you? wonder if we can ever just call here. 8, 20, 36. We can. I think we can just call. I'm a little bit worried if we jam he's going to fold, and we're pretty desperate to get chips. So I give him a chance to flop a little piece. Could definitely just call flop. But I think if he's got a king or a 7 or something like that, he's probably going to get it in anyway. 5-8 and 8-9, he probably would have jammed on us. He may actually have a hand like... what the hell does he have? He's got a 6. He might have like a queen 6 suited. He's got 4-5 or 7-8 or... I don't know, I was having a hard time finding a hand to put him on. So 10-9 is pan 11. We only have 7, so it's a pretty easy jam. We've been jamming on Carpe Diem all day long, it seems. And I don't know, I mean, if he has queens there and he came up with a hero fold because he thought we had a king, I mean, we lost tons of value. But, yeah, I mean... it's pretty questionable here. Carpe Diem, I think, even though I've said he's, slightly on the tight side, I mean, at the same time, I mean, he's a very capable player. I think he's a good thinker, plays good. I think I'm going to bet, just because some of his range, I think, is made up of, like, ace-x, and you could check here, I think. You could argue for checking. We don't really have a lot of backdoor equity, you know, if there's a heart on board or something. I mean, best cards for us is queen, obviously a 7 or jack, but a queen or a 10 or an 8 give us a little bit more equity. The 5 gives us the gutser, but even still, it's probably not a card that I'm that thrilled about barreling on. I just don't think we can fold out any pair yet, to be honest. I mean, if he's got a 5-7 or 5-8, we might fold that, but I don't think he's got hands like that very often. He's probably got a hand... he can have a king a lot. I guess he can float with an ace as well, but 10 jack, jack queen, those hands are a little bit of a concern because they would probably call with gutsers and thinking the pair might be good as well. And yeah, I mean, the c-bet's pretty close. I mean, it doesn't have to work very often. What did I bet? Third pot? I think I bet third pot, so it only needs to work 25% of the time, but I'm not sure it does on that board. It's a pretty bad board. I'm just trying to fold out ace sort of X, which I think he may even 3-bet rather than just flat with pre, because it has more raw equity and just not a lot of post-flop playability. Sometimes he might even 3-bet it as well, which is something to think about. So going back to Bryn Kenny, a real crusher. I think he actually plays as just Bryn Kenny, which is pretty boss-like, really. You just use your name and crush. Because you don't want to use your name if you're a fish. Everyone's going to say, you're a fish. But, you know, if you're a boss, it's okay. And he has boss status. He's only 95. And he only has 1 million profit, so 1 million profit. Call yourself a poker player. Yeah, obviously a ridiculous average stake is huge, 471. So it's a ridiculously high average stake, because I think these days he just plays like all the big buy-in, like W Coop events and stuff. And he's up over 1 mil, which is just incredible. But ability 95, even a player like that. So I mean, we're talking about the Shark Scope system here, so it's not the Bible, but the system they use, I think it's reasonably accurate. And somehow this 42 AA got his score up to 98, so it's impressive. Talk about this guy here, obviously. Give him a solid. So just jamming here is pretty obvious. Definitely don't want to flat and have it multi-way. Still going to get called by like 9s and 8s and ace-jack and stuff like that. Still going to call. This guy might have king-queen, which is just the best, because we have him what's known as crashed. That, my friends, is what we call crashed. And we have just popped up like a daisy, and just as we were speaking about him. It's funny that, just as we're talking about 42 AA. And I think his call there is pretty reasonable. Cha-ching!